When you hear the name Romney, you probably think of a political family with a fortune worth hundreds of millions of dollars. But the famous book expert from Pawn Stars, Rebecca Romney, has a fortune of her own, built not on politics, but on ancient paper and ink. The story behind her famous last name and her incredible wealth is far more surprising than you could ever imagine. The name Romney immediately brings to mind power, politics, and immense wealth. Senator Mitt Romney, a major figure in American politics, has a personal fortune that has been estimated to be between $190 million and $250 million. His wealth comes from a long and successful career in business, founding the investment firm Bain Capital. So, when fans of Pawn Stars hear the name Rebecca Romney, it's natural to wonder if she's part of this powerful dynasty. Is her expertise and success funded by a massive family fortune? The connection seems obvious, but the truth is hidden in a detail of her personal life that changes the entire story. The last name Romney does not come from her family line. It comes from her ex-husband, J.P. Romney. And while he is distantly related to the famous senator, Rebecca herself has stated that she has never even met Mitt Romney. The connection is so distant that it has no bearing on her life or her finances. She is not an heiress to a political dynasty. The name is just a coincidence, a red herring in the story of her success. This revelation is key to understanding her journey. She didn't start with a nine-figure safety net or powerful family connections to open doors for her. Every dollar she has earned, every rare book she has sold, and every piece of her reputation has been built from the ground up through her own intelligence and hard work. So if her riches don't come from a political dynasty, where do they come from? The answer is far more interesting. Rebecca Romney's wealth comes from her position at the very top of a very exclusive and very lucrative profession, the rare book trade. She is not just a book lover. She is a high-powered dealer who handles some of the most valuable printed materials in the world. The foundation of her fortune is her own company, Type Punch Matrix, a rare book firm she co-founded in 2019 with her business partner Brian Cassidy. Located in Silver Spring, Maryland, just outside of Washington, D.C., this firm is not your average neighborhood bookstore. It is a high-end gallery for historical treasures, and to even get inside, you need to make an appointment and take an elevator to its third-floor office. The name of the company itself is a clue to Rebecca's deep knowledge. Type Punch Matrix refers to the punch matrix system, a historic method of creating metal type for printing presses that was invented by Johannes Gutenberg himself. It's a technical, historical name that signals to serious collectors that this is a business run by a true expert, not just a seller. This authenticity is her brand, and it's what allows her to deal in items of incredible value. Her business partner, Brian Cassidy, brings his own unique expertise to the company. He has been a bookseller since 1994 and specializes in countercultural movements, the Beat Generation, and the Mimeo Revolution, a period of independent publishing. Together, they offer a range of items that is both classic and edgy, pushing the boundaries of what people think of as rare books. Their business philosophy is also unique. While they handle incredibly expensive items, they are committed to making book collecting more accessible and diverse for everyone. Their inventory includes not just priceless historical artifacts, but also affordable items like first editions of science fiction novels for as little as $15. They even have categories for things like pulp and sleaze and zines, showing an appreciation for pop culture that you wouldn't find in a stuffier, more traditional rare book firm. And the value of the items she sells is staggering. In her career, Rebecca has personally sold a single book for $500,000. To put that in perspective, the commission on that one sale alone could be more than what many people earn in an entire year. And that's not a one-time event. Her company regularly handles items that are just as, if not more, valuable. They have sold Shakespeare folios, which are collections of his plays printed in the 1600s. A complete first folio from 1623 sold at auction for nearly $10 million in 2020, setting a world record. Even later folios, like the second folio from 1632, can sell for $400,000. She has also sold first editions of Sir Isaac Newton's Principia Mathematica, one of the most important scientific books ever written, and Charles Darwin's On the Origin of Species. These aren't just old books. They are foundational artifacts of human history, and their prices reflect that. Perhaps even more incredible, she has handled and sold individual leaves from the Gutenberg Bible, the very first major book printed in the Western world. A complete Gutenberg Bible is priceless and hasn't been on the market since 1978, but a single page can be worth a fortune. Depending on the condition and the specific page, one leaf can sell for anywhere from $55,000 to over $150,000. Her company's inventory is like a museum where everything is for sale. In an interview with the Washingtonian, it was revealed that Type Punch Matrix had an original typescript of Allen Ginsberg's famous poem Howl for sale, with an asking price of $375,000. They also had a first edition of Robinson Crusoe priced at $15,000. This constant flow of high-value assets is the engine of her wealth. Her business isn't just earning a salary. It's a dynamic enterprise where the inventory itself is worth millions of dollars. In 2011, Rebecca Romney became a familiar face to millions of people when she began appearing on the History Channel's smash hit, Pawn Stars. She was brought in as the show's rare book specialist, the go-to expert whenever someone walked into the gold and silver pawn shop with an old book they hoped was a hidden treasure. She quickly became a fan favorite, known for her intelligence, enthusiasm, and her unique status as the only regular female expert on the show. Over the years, she has become one of the longest-running specialists in the show's history. Her journey to television wasn't something she planned. It happened by chance. At the time, she was the manager of the Las Vegas gallery for Bauman Rare Books, one of the world's largest and most respected rare book dealers. The producers of Pawn Stars needed an expert, and they reached out to her company. Bauman initially declined, but Rick Harrison was persistent. Rebecca, who was now managing the store, went through a tough interview process and got the part, stepping into the world of reality TV. On the show, Rebecca is often the bearer of bad news, the destroyer of dreams, as she jokingly calls it, telling hopeful sellers that their dusty family heirloom isn't worth much. But other times, she gets to confirm that they have something truly special. One of her most memorable and valuable appraisals involved a 5th edition of the Book of Mormon from 1842. A seller named Adam brought it to the shop, hoping to get $25,000 for it. He explained that it was the last edition printed during the lifetime of the religion's founder, Joseph Smith, making it incredibly significant. When Rebecca arrived, she was immediately impressed. "The Book of Mormon, wow, this is actually really hard to find," she said, explaining that it was a key text for America's most successful homegrown religion. Then she delivered the bombshell. She told Rick that it was by far the most valuable book she had ever appraised at the shop, and that in a retail setting, she would price it at $40,000. Rick was stunned. The seller was overjoyed. After some negotiation, Rick ended up buying the book for $24,000, a massive sale that was only possible because of Rebecca's expert valuation. Another time, a seller brought in a tiny, beautiful book from 1547 called The Dance of Death. It was filled with woodcut illustrations of skeletons dancing with people from all walks of life, from merchants to kings. Rebecca's eyes lit up. "Rick, this is officially my favorite book that you've had me look at," she exclaimed. She explained that the book came from the 14th century, a time of famine and the Black Death, when European culture became obsessed with mortality. The book, she said, was a way to find humor and amusement in the face of constant death. She pointed to an image of a skeleton taking a merchant's money and joked, "Look, Rick, I found you." She valued the book at an impressive $16,000, and Rick bought it for $9,500, all because of the passion and historical context she brought to the appraisal. Her expertise also played a crucial role in the show's classic negotiation dynamic. A seller once brought in a 1787 first edition of John Adams's A Defense of the Constitutions of Government, a book Adams rushed to publish so its ideas about separation of powers could influence the upcoming U.S. Constitutional Convention. The seller was asking for $5,000. Rebecca confirmed it was a first edition and, because of its excellent restored binding, valued it at $10,000. Armed with this knowledge, Rick turned to the seller and said he would make it very simple. "I'll give you $5,000, not a penny more." The seller, who had originally asked for that exact amount, immediately agreed, and Rick got a fantastic deal thanks to Rebecca's appraisal. For being one of the most popular experts on a global hit show, you would think her paycheck would be huge. After all, the main cast members, like Chumley, were reportedly making as much as $25,000 per episode. But what if I told you that Rebecca's salary for each appearance was exactly zero? It's a surprising but true fact. Rick Harrison has confirmed in interviews that the outside experts who appear on Pawn Stars are not paid a fee for their time. So why would a top expert in her field take time away from her own business to work for free? The answer lies in the real currency of television: exposure. The payment isn't in cash, it's in the form of priceless international advertising. Every time Rebecca appears on screen, her name and her expertise are broadcast to millions of potential clients around the world. This free advertising is far more valuable than any appearance fee. It builds her brand, establishes her as a leading authority, and drives customers to her business. Her role on Pawn Stars isn't a job in the traditional sense. It's a brilliant marketing strategy. She forgoes a small one-time payment for a long-term investment in her reputation and her company. This savvy business move has made her arguably the most recognizable rare book dealer in the country. But this level of on-camera confidence and deep specialized knowledge doesn't come from nowhere. To understand why she's the best in the business, you have to look at a life spent not in front of cameras but deep inside libraries and classrooms around the world. Rebecca Romney's success is built on a foundation of intense academic study and a true passion for history and language. Her on-screen persona is just a small glimpse of a formidable intellect that she has been cultivating since she was young. Her journey began with a youth filled with books, which grew into a serious academic pursuit in college. She earned a degree with a double major in linguistics and classical studies and a minor in philosophy. This means she didn't just study books, she studied the very building blocks of language and thought, from the ancient world to the modern day. Her language skills are nothing short of incredible. She can read in 6 different languages. This includes modern languages like French and Japanese, but also ancient languages like Latin and ancient Greek. This ability is a massive advantage in the rare book world. When a book from the 16th century comes across her desk, she doesn't need a translator to understand it. She can read it herself. In a Reddit AMA, she revealed that she even taught herself Old English in her spare time for a very specific reason. She wanted to read the epic poem Beowulf in its original language. This single fact speaks volumes about her dedication and intellectual curiosity. Her passion for language and culture also took her across the globe. After college, she lived and taught English in Japan, where she became fluent in Japanese. She admits that learning to read Japanese was much more difficult than learning to speak it, but she put in the hard work to master it. This experience not only broadened her worldview, but also gave her expertise in another major market for rare books and manuscripts. Her personal life is also deeply intertwined with the world of books. She is married to J.P. Romney, who is a historical researcher and an author himself. He wrote a young adult novel called The Monster on the Road Is Me, a darkly funny story that blends modern Japanese life with ancient folklore. The book tells the story of Kota Okita, a high school student in Japan who suffers from narcolepsy and has to wear a large helmet to protect his head. When a series of strange deaths plague his school, Kota discovers that his narcoleptic episodes are actually a supernatural power that allows him to fight demons from Japanese mythology. The book was praised by critics for its humor and its authentic feel for life in small-town Japan, which J.P. Romney gained from his own experience teaching there. Together, Rebecca and J.P. are a literary power couple. They hosted a book podcast together called Biblioclast, and in 2017 they co-authored a book called Printer's Error: Irreverent Stories from Book History. The book is a fun and accessible journey through the weird and wonderful history of printing, with stories about everything from book forgeries to Benjamin Franklin. It received praise from her Pawn Stars colleague Rick Harrison, who said, "Who knew the printed book could be so fun?" Rebecca and JP have 2 children together and reside in the Washington, D.C. area. Despite her public profile, she has had to deal with the unfortunate side of being a woman on television. She has acknowledged that some people focus only on her appearance rather than her expertise, but she handles it with grace, and her husband just thinks the whole situation is funny. With a brilliant mind, a supportive family, and a global business, Rebecca Romney has built a financial empire from multiple directions, all stemming from her deep love of knowledge. So, how rich is Rebecca Romney? Her primary source of wealth is undoubtedly her company, Type Punch Matrix. As the co-founder of a firm that sells items for tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, and sometimes even more, her earning potential is enormous. The business model for high-end dealers like her relies on commission from sales and the profit from buying and selling rare items. Given that she has personally sold single items for $500,000, it's safe to say that her income from the business alone places her in a very high earning bracket. Her second major income stream comes from her work as a published author. She has authored or co-authored several books, including Printer's Error, the romance novel in English, and her latest, Jane Austen's Bookshelf. These books, which sell for around $20 to $30 each, provide a steady stream of royalty income. While not as explosive as a $500,000 book sale, these royalties create a reliable financial cushion and also serve as marketing tools, further cementing her status as a leading expert. A third stream of income comes from consulting and other media appearances. Her official website notes that she offers paid consultations for clients through her company. She was also featured prominently in the 2019 documentary, The Booksellers, a film about the rare book trade in New York. In the film, she is presented as a key voice for the future of the industry, pushing back against the idea that book collecting is a dying hobby and arguing that the internet has created a new golden age for collectors. Appearances in major documentaries and profiles in publications like the New York Times, the Washington Post, and Forbes often come with speaking fees and other opportunities that add to her income. She even continues to engage with a new generation of book lovers on social media platforms like TikTok, where she posts videos explaining how to identify first editions of classic books like The Great Gatsby. When you put all the pieces together, a thriving high-end business, multiple published books, paid consulting, and the invaluable brand recognition from a hit TV show, the evidence points to a multi-million-dollar fortune. It's a fortune built not on a famous name or inherited wealth, but on a brilliant mind, a relentless work ethic, and a deep, genuine passion for the stories that old books have to tell. Rebecca Romney's story is a powerful example of how intellectual capital can be turned into real financial wealth. From an accidental TV star to a respected author and the co-founder of a major rare book firm, she has strategically built a career where every part of her work makes the other parts more valuable, creating a hidden fortune that is as impressive as the rare treasures she handles every day.